On tonight's show, we have some experts into the field of the paranormal, and they are CTPS, and I'm really looking forward to talking to these guys because they, every one of us has had the pleasure of talking or investigating with them, and they're very professional and very knowledgeable, and, well, they're just downright fun. But before we get into this, I want to talk about Black Friday and the week leading up to it. It has been crazy busy for, I'm sure, everybody because everybody's getting ready for Thanksgiving. And I'd like to say that one of the many things I'm thankful for are my two co-hosts, Teresa McLean and Regina Stewart. They are fantastic, and they're, it's nothing better than doing what you love to do and doing it with the people that you love and care about. Well, we're going to have CTPS on tonight, Central Texas Paranormal Society, and I know that Teresa, you were a member of CTPS, and I was a member of CTPS, and she's part of your sister group with Hide and Seek Paranormal. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you got introduced to them?
Yeah, CTPS, they were called because of, everybody starting to learn about me, our listeners on the show and stuff that, I have my own personal haunting. And so CTPS, I called them at my house in Little River, Texas to come out and help me out, kind of to see if they could get some evidence for me. And I contacted them. And they came out and brought their big trailer and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. Adam came and Becky and Scott and Ed and Val, part of the teams, they all came out to investigate my house. And that's how I met Central Texas Paranormal. And really, really cool group. And just kind of hit it off with them, adore them. Becky became a good friend of mine. And kind of like spiritual hauntings and spirits that follow you, I kind of did the same thing. And the next thing you know, they were saying, hey, Teresa, hand me your bio. We want you to start ghost hunting. That's kind of how I got into the that part of it. I mean, I've always been psychic, and I've always, seen spirits and talked to spirits and stuff like that. But that was the first time I ever got to officially go ghost hunting with equipment, and the professionalism of CTPS is, what I use now with what I do. I carry it with me. Becky taught me a lot. And so I have to really thank her for that. And we broke off here into Florida and became a sister group with them with Hide and Seek Paranormal. But a lot of the way we run our team is based on how CTPS ran their team.
Right. And I agree, Becky, the whole team is very, very professional. And how I got introduced to them was actually through you. You had invited me, on a ghost hunt. And when I, arrived, it was, this big, truck, and it had all this equipment in it, and, I was very impressed. The way she went in, did her walkthroughs, and then she made every member of the team, feel like a valuable part of the team, and that's what I liked about it. You didn't feel like you were left out, just experience of this on your own. And, she would ask you your opinion, and, that, to me, that was pretty amazing. And I know that Becky also does rescuing for animal rescue, and I believe she's just gotten an award for that. So I would like to talk to her a little bit more about that. But, she'll bring her little rescue animals on the investigation, and sometimes animals can be a very valuable part of an investigation. So, she always brings popcorn and coffee. So, the investigations can last late into the night. So, but, I agree with you. Both of them are very professional. And with my group, Heart Texas Spirit Society, Becky has, she taught me a lot on how to also run my group. I've learned a lot through her and through you. So I'm really looking forward to talking to them. So, Regina, have you ever had the pleasure of doing an investigation with them? I believe you have.
Yeah, I have. I went with Teresa one time, and I enjoyed myself. We just it's like one big family, and a very professional team, and I got to work that night with Liz, and we went in pairs. I don't know if that's like standard what their team usually does, is people go in pairs, but that's what we were doing that night. And it, you know, for me, it was, I like to go with different teams. It was a way for me to get to meet, you know, new people in the area that are involved in the paranormal. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time. I can't wait to talk to them. I think some of them are calling in, so I'm gonna jump off for just a minute so I can add them to our show.
Great, that would be great. You know, they do a lot of residential hauntings, and you know they really help the families out. Yeah, you know, when you have something happening to you and you don't know where to call and you think you're alone in this, you know, they make you feel like, you know, they can help you, and they do. They really do. So I know that Becky's dad had started the group, Pops did, and he passed away and Becky took over. But, you know, he is so much still a part of that group that it is, you know, amazing. You know, you can just feel that, you know, he's with you, and I know he talks to, you know, comes and talks to Becky, and you know, it's all they approach it in a scientific, you know, manner, which is, you know, how ghost hunting should be. You know, they don't just go in there and, you know, and they don't just leave the client hanging. You know, and that's what I like about it. So, do we have CTPS with us?
We have Becky and Scott are waiting in queue to come on, so we can add them to our show, and then when the others arrive, I'll put them through.
That would be great. Let's go ahead and start with Becky. I'd like to talk to Becky. Becky, are you with us?
I am.
Yeah, I'm glad you could join us tonight. We're really excited to have you here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your group and how you you know, how you guys formed and how you've evolved into where you are now?
Well, my dad, Pop, Ken Hotchkiss, started this team over 10 years ago. He was at home. He had just broke his back from jackknifing his diesel truck, and he was obviously in bed, you know, laying down. He's in, you know, traction and all that fun stuff, and he's alone in the house, and he starts hearing people talking in the other room. So of course he goes out there to look him home, and nobody did. So he goes back to bed. And he hears the door open and close, and he hears people talking again. This time he grabs his knife, or his gun, and searches the house, and there's no one there. Well, it continues to go on over the period of, you know, a couple weeks. And so he got very interested in what was going on and got a regular video camera, regular voice recorder, and just put it down in the living room and went off from there and started going to other people's houses and trying to solve what was going there as well. And he started picking up people as he went. So he passed away just over 2 years ago. And he wanted me and my stepsister to run the team once he had passed. But, you know, it was we were just so upset and so distraught because we had lost him. But one investigation we had gone on with him, we cleaned up, got all of our stuff out of the house, and we were getting ready to leave. And he tells me and my stepsister, Lee Smith, whoever dies first has to come back to prove that there is an afterlife. You know, we'd been doing it at that time for nearly 10 years, and we were like, well, we've already proved it, you know. And he said, well, you know, there's still questions. So, like I said, once he died, I was not going to pick it up. My stepsister wanted to end it and sell all the equipment and be done with it. But day before we buried my father, I get a message from this guy out of the blue. He goes on our Facebook page and he puts on there, I've got a message to tell you. I've got this man here who is extremely persistent. He's not going to listen to. He hasn't listened to me. I don't do this. I don't like people to know I'm doing this. But I've got to get this guy off my back. I need him to leave me alone so I can study. So apparently the guy was in college. And I thought, oh, really? You know, sometimes you just get people out of the woodwork and they say what they want to say, and, you know, and so you're never sure. And I thought, this can wait. I'm too distraught. I'm not gonna respond to him right now. So we came home from burying my father, and the guy sends me another message, and he said, look, to prove that I'm telling you the truth, he goes, I have 3 things to tell you. And he told me 3 different things, and one was extremely minor. He said a purple rag or cloth, and, you know, like a year before he died, it was just me and him in his truck, and he said, give me that handkerchief out of that cubby. So I grabbed it, and it was purple with the Indian prints on it, and I had to tease him about, you know, gay pride, and he didn't know what I was talking about. It. So, you know, it was a lost cause, and, well, the medium had mentioned the purple cloth or rag, so immediately I called him up, and I'm like, okay, now you have my attention. And he said, your message is, please continue. And I knew that it was for this. So after that, I have obviously, a lot of the team members were so distraught they couldn't continue, so I picked up new team members. Mostly, I've got a few that are still there. Ed Viera, he's still around, and Valerie Farley, she's still on the team, and, you know, they were there with my dad. And Adam Bryant, my dad had just brought him onto the team before he passed. So we picked up a new one. We picked up, we picked up Rhonda here. We also picked up Teresa, who you guys is part of your 3 sisters. And, you know, and some new team members. And we went on from there. We've tried to keep it as much like he had it as possible. So that was our long story in a nutshell.
Well, you know, like me and Teresa were both saying it, and even Regina, you know, you guys, the professionalism that you guys show these homeowners is just incredible. And, you know, we both have learned so much from you guys, just watching you and you know, interacting with you. And, you know, it's amazing. And like, you know, Regina was saying, you know, you guys go in small groups at 2 at a time, and that cuts down a lot of the contamination. You know, and you see these TV shows, and, you know, they bring in all these people, and it's like, how can you really get anything like that?
Exactly. We only bring 2, 3 people max. We'll bring in a 3rd person if they're like a new member that we're testing out or training, or, you know, somebody that just came along for the heck of it, you know. So it's 3 max, period. I won't allow any more in that. Years ago, we used to do it like the shows do it, you know, bring in 5, 6, 10 people. And I was learning that when you're reviewing the evidence, it's so hard to prove that I just saw that something moved, a shadow move, or, you know, that hanger with clothing on it just moved, or, you know what I mean, or the pillow just kind of slightly, or a toy moved. When you've got 6 people, I'm like, well, who did someone do that? Because there's too many people in a room to do that, you know. I can't give that to a client and say, oh, you know, this is real, and you've got 10 people in that room. How are you going to prove that, you know?
Sure. And
also with the noise. The noise as well. Yeah, everybody's got cameras. Everybody has voice recorders. They've got all their, you know, equipment. They're all making noise. They're grunting. They're, you know. So we have over the years learned, you know, to stop doing that and to start, you know, doing 2, 3 people max. And if they hear a noise, they tag it. So this way, we're getting better evidence.
Sure. And that's another thing I like about your group, too, is, you know, at the end of the investigation, and everybody goes through their evidence, you kind of put it all together, and then you give this client. And, you know, that really puts their mind at ease, whether it's, you know, nothing or whether there's something there, and you kind of teach them how to either, you know, live with it or you know, do what they, then it becomes their choice, you know, and they feel like they have a little bit of control over it.
To live with it or to get rid of it, exactly. But, you know, when we first go in, the clients are always quite, you know, scared or, you know, upset over what's going on in the house or just not understanding. You know, there's just so many emotions go through when, you know, you're dealing with something like that. And then by the time we're done and we've really got a good idea of what's in there, during the review, I can tell them, look, this was your uncle, blah, 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 and he's still with you. Would you like to get rid of him, or do you want to keep him? It's up to you. And we'll teach them either way.
Yeah, I know that when a client calls you, because I was that client, and, it's uncomfortable, even though, I knew who my spirit was in the house, but it was still uncomfortable. And then, when you get that evidence, it gives you the control back. You're taking control back over your home to say, I want this to stay or I want it to go. So I agree with you, absolutely.
Exactly. And 9 out of 10 times, yes, Scott is here. Just a minute. Hang on.
No. Hey, Scott. How are you?
Well, pretty good. And you?
Good, good. I wanted to talk to you a little bit because, you're Becky's husband and you're a part of the team and a very valuable part of the team. You're the tech guy, so you have the hard job. What is the hardest part of an investigation on your end?
It'd be all the ambient noise and any kind of light play you'd have within wherever you're recording. We had a case not too long ago where we thought we had a shadow. We thought it was a ghost figure. And after reviewing it for a while, we figured out that one of the team members had moved their arms, and it just caught a second light source and created a shadow across the room. So it wasn't the camera they were holding. It was the camera behind them that was causing a shadow. So that's, and then a lot of it has to do with, excuse me, getting enough equipment that actually records what you're looking to record. Because without something recorded, there's no evidence. Because it's all hearsay from there.
So what is your favorite piece of evidence? I mean, your favorite piece of equipment to use? Do you have a favorite?
Not really. The millimeter, if you can get it to respond, is great, but it's not always a legitimate, because sometimes I want to play with it, and then sometimes there's ambient, surroundings that cause it to go off when it wants to go off. Yeah, electrical source of some sort. And but other than that, video is so uncommon to get it, but that is your best source.
You have a hard job loading the equipment up and unloading it and then reloading it again, and I have a lot of respect for you.
Oh, thank you. And then a matter of making sure you got it all when you leave. And that's happened a few times where, we got to go back. We forgot one piece of equipment. Yeah. And then somebody close the cord in the door and cut it in half. That's always fun. Yeah.
Well, I know my two co-hosts are wanting to ask you guys some questions. Regina, would you like to ask some questions?
Well, yeah, I kind of wanted to ask Scott a question first off, because I know he's married into a family that ghost hunts.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on investigating before? Before you married?
I was pretty skeptical, I would say. Since I don't have any sensitivities to it, I don't get any of the feelings that a lot of the people get. So if I can't see it, it doesn't exist. So or hear it, I should say, because EVPs are your most prevalent evidence anyway. But you always get some kind of EVPs, and that's always good, ammo for the whole thing of doing it, and then being able to tie everything together as the story creates over the night as to what's going on.
Right. And then, so over the years, have you kind of changed your perspective on it, or have you still kind of stayed that same kind of skeptical?
They have always called me as the debunker, because I'm always I have to find out if it's real or really happening, or if something caused it to happen that we created. So, like the shadow and all that kind of stuff. If we created it, then it never happened. But, I believe in it a lot more than I did. I just don't get to feel it like everybody else does.
I don't want to say I don't understand how people can be skeptical, because I do understand that not everybody has a gift. to be able to hear or see or feel that kind of thing. But it's just so I like to hear from the perspective of a skeptic because for me, I've dealt with being able to hear and see spirit my whole life. So I kind of like to hear from the perspective of somebody who doesn't really have those experiences and is still wants to find out what it is. You know what I mean? Find out why these things are happening in these homes or businesses or whatever. So I find it interesting.
Well, I'm back.
You have some questions for Becky, Regina?
Well, I know just from personal experience, Becky, that it's very hard to run a team and keep things going and to delegate jobs for people within the team, and to keep that going and have everything done as far as like when you have an investigation, get the evidence taken care, go over the evidence in a timely manner and stuff like that. Do you have specific people on your team that do certain things, and what are those jobs?
Of course I do. Well, you just talked to Scott. He is our equipment manager, so he makes sure all the equipment's running right and everything's going smooth for us. We have Adam, who reviews our handheld videos, and Lynn is our case manager, so she'll be the one that is usually in contact. We'll contact people when we get cases coming in. Usually she does it 9 out of 10 times. Sometimes I'll pick up some because I was case manager for so long. So once in a while I miss, so I'll do it. So, we have Teresa on your team here. She and Lynn control our Facebook page. And Ed is our debunker as well, and he is a really great investigator. So we have him as well doing that. Valerie will do all the still pictures, and she will go through those herself. And if she gets anything, she'll email it to me so I can put it together. We have Tim, who controls our ctghost.org website. So, yeah, everybody does have jobs, and it honestly, it's really hard to, do these jobs for free and also, have your own life. It really is a hard job to begin with,
Yeah.
So
it's very time consuming. Well, it's a whole other job. It's like your second job if you're going on the weekends, even if it's once a month or twice a month. People don't realize how much.
We do it twice a month. We do it twice a month. Every other Saturday. So because people have jobs, they work during the week. And then they can have 2 weekends, to themselves, their families. But we don't force each other to go. I'm not going to force somebody to go on an investigation if they don't want to go. Well, we have an investigation this Saturday night as well, and I'm hoping Rhonda comes and shows up. And, it's not interfering with her family life, because it does. And, people can tune into our Facebook page, and we always post, videos of how it's going through the night. So that's fun.
It is a lot of, it's a lot of fun to get together with you guys. It's always a blast, and I know you do other things besides the, the residential things. We've all gotten together and we've done the Marlin, investigating the town of Marlin, and that's kind of just for.
And quite a few historical homes here around Waco we've done. We've done public places. We've done the theater in Marlin as CTPS only. We weren't doing the whole town. It was just that theater. When did we meet you, Rhonda? What was your first investigation that you went on with us?
I want to say the first investigation I went with you guys was out in the country. Can't remember the little town.
My dad's
house.
Was it my father's house?
No.
Okay.
The lady's husband had passed away.
Uh-huh.
And it was her
yes,
and her.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
The one with the vineyard.
Yes. Yeah. That was quite interesting. I want to say
that was the first one. But the first time I met you guys, I want to say it was in one of the little towns. It wasn't Marlin.
Was it with Brenda?
Yes.
The one that she was running, the first one we went to. Oh, yeah. Right. We went to the graveyard with that little boy. Yeah, a little itty-bitty town that if you blinked, you missed it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was that's when I met everybody.
And how about you, Teresa? Is Teresa here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, good deal. Hey, Becky, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? I was just asking, do you remember when you first met us?
Well, yeah, y'all came to my house. That's where I first met y'all. Before y'all got on the line, I was telling the story of how I met y'all, and that, you know how I always joke every time we went and we did like a little presentation in front of other people, and I would always tell the story about, you know, instead of picking up spirits, y'all picked me up, and you haven't been able to exercise me even to this day.
Right. Exactly. Did you explain how spirits will attach to you during an investigation and follow you home?
We have before, but I would love it from you for you to tell the story. I remember the one investigation that we went on to the one place. You know where I'm talking about, the one where they had the secret room. Do you know where I'm talking about?
Yes, that's my guy. Yeah, yes, I do. He's here with me still to this day, honestly. Yeah, we investigate this man's house, and turns out he has a spirit from roughly the Dark Ages. He's a Frenchman, apparently, and he's very bossy, you know, and controlling, and especially to women, because, you know, back in his day, we have to, you know, bow down to the man. We couldn't even rearrange a house, you know, the furniture without our husband's permission, and that was law, you know. So we were completely devoted to our men, and you know, we had to do what they said. So this spirit still had his mindset like that, but I don't know why, but he attached himself to me and followed me home and proceeded to freaking you know, hit my alarms. My fire alarms kept going off for no reason, nothing going on. It's never happened before. I've lived in this house for years. So our security system, of course, you know, where I live, once a fire alarm is hit through the security system, the fire department has to come. So they show up, and, you know, it's quite embarrassing. One time I was napping with my granddaughter, and I'm like, and they're like, did you have a candle burning while you're sleeping? And I'm like, no. He's like, were you showering? And I'm like, I was napping, you know, and you know, every time they would come out, there was absolutely no smoke and no reason for them to go off. And they're not defective or faulty. My husband, he double-checked them. You know, he's equipment manager. So, of course, I get my equipment out and start finding out that he followed me home. So we had to go through the whole, you're not the boss of me. I'm alive. You're dead. If you want to continue staying here, you know, you'll have to abide by my rules. We've come to, you know, some kind of an agreement of him being here and, you know, what his rules are, and he pretty much abides by them. Now, when someone new comes up and they sleep in my house, of course, he kind of messes with them while they're sleeping. My mother was here, and he kept turning her light on and off, the switch, which is across the room. You know, and then she would feel like somebody was staring at her when she's laying in bed. And so, yeah, he does present himself sometimes, and I don't mind. I know he's here, and I know what's going on, but you can be at a grocery store, you could be at the park, you could be at work, anywhere, a friend's house, you know, anywhere, and a spirit sees you, and either they've known you in heaven, and you know, they know you, only you don't remember, or they just like you because the spirit can see your personality and who you are as a spirit, as a person. All that personality that you have, you also take to heaven. So they like you, and they want to go home with you, and they will. They'll follow you home. They'll follow you to work. You never know where they came from. So, it's always fun to find out where the spirits actually came from. And I think it's kind of interesting when they follow you home. They must have really liked you. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, and I remember that because I remember that incident whenever we got done with that investigation, which I thought was really cool because every single one of us
he was at everybody. He went and visited everybody's house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he was opening Adam's electric garage door in the middle of the night, and that had never happened before. And he was at your house, was he not, Teresa?
Yes, he
with
was.
Flowers?
Yes, he was. He was at my house, and he was messing with a lot of things. But
what did he do with the flowers? Remember, Steve just gave you a bouquet of flowers and you put it in a vase. Okay, go ahead and tell it.
But I had let him know that I had gotten the vase, and he moved the vase across my countertop, and
you were watching it, was you not?
Yes, we were. We were watching it at the time, and of course Steve was new to all this and started following me on the investigations, kind of like I started hanging with Becky and them. Steve kind of got into it that same way, and it was kind of a little bit kind of unnerved him, and that's when I texted. I think it was you, Becky. I texted you, and you told me you were having some things, and then of course everybody, Lynn and everybody else also were, who all had been there, was having issues too.
Right, and that's when I said, well, gosh, I get my equipment out and find out what's going on. He's here. He seems to have left everybody else alone and stuck around here, so, we don't mind him here. My house is full of spirits already, and it's not. And my house is brand new. It's only 5 years old. No one ever lived in it before me, so it was nice and quiet for the first couple days.
Well, ladies, we have some questions in the chat room. Regina, do you want to ask some questions in the chat room?
Sure. Our listener Mandy Price had asked me
and find out where she's at. Where's my phone?
Personally, like what. If there was one piece of equipment that somebody could buy that's just starting out on investigating, what would it be? So I thought it'd be something to ask you guys.
Handheld video camera, whatever. It can be cheap. A cheap camera. Do not use your cell phone. If you go into an investigation, turn it off or leave it in the car. Do not use it because the towers and your cell phone are constantly talking. And if you're using your cell phone, you might get a voice in there that was actually from the cell phone itself and not, paranormal. Or you'll get noises beeping and somebody, you get all these different, even though you've turned the sound off, it'll vibrate and you'll pick that up. It's just best to turn it off, put it in your pocket or leave it in the car. Don't take it in with you. So the camera, any camera, any still camera, cheap little still camera, they're all digital these days, a little cheap handheld video recorder video voice recorder and a handheld video recorder. That's all we started off, just those three things. And they were cheap. They were something that we already had laying around the house. So there you go. You go from there.
And then she had another question. Hold on just a second. Let me see.
All right.
She would like to know if there's one place that you, I guess she wants to know the one place that you've been that was the most haunted and most active.
So that one is kind of, a tricky seesaw question, really, because I can give you one that was from a house where the spirits weren't, bad. There were children running around, and we got children on the voice recorders and, in our videos. Another one where, which is extremely rare, out of over 10 years, we've only had 2 places that were bad spirits, evil spirits, demons, whatever you want to call it. And we did a house that the demon was messing with the 2 twin young toddler boys. and it was a demon, and that house was quite active. Dishes would fall in the kitchen while we were in there. The front door opened. We have that on video on our regular page, ctghost.org. With a door opening. Another one where the guys came down and a closet door opened. And they tried everything to recreate that one. It just didn't recreate. So,
No, I was just going to say, whenever you were saying that you've only had a couple of cases where it was bad entities or so-called,
right.
demons or whatever.
Right.
What do you guys do in that situation to help the homeowners or the business owners?
Well, first thing, we've only had 2. In over 10 years, we've only come across 2 that was really, truly 100% demonic. And you've really got to back up and find out why they're there, what they're doing there, because it's the same thing as a regular spirit. You want to find out. So one of them we had was in a trailer. The woman's parents had passed, and they had a trailer on their house where they had their nurse living in there on the property. And apparently she was quite evil. When she died, she stayed in the trailer. Well, she never came out of the trailer. No matter how many times we tried in the house, she would not go in there. So we told her, get rid of the trailer. It's pretty simple. If she wants to be in the trailer, that's fine. Get rid of it. She did, and it stopped, And the other one was these people were renting the home, and the spirit was actually tied to the land, not the home. The evil demon was tied into the land, which was different. And so our recommendation was to ask her, hey, I know there's a long shot, but maybe if you move, just try that. Let's try anything. We're grasping for straws here. So they moved, and they got back to us like 2 months later and called us and said, man, nothing happens, nothing at all. The house is calm, it's quiet, nothing's going on. So, I told them keep in touch with us. If anything does, we'll be right there.
Have you noticed that when you do an investigation, does the activity kind of pick up after you guys leave, or maybe like before you guys get there?
Before we get there, the week before we get there, they know we're coming. They have to know because they say people will tell us inevitably way more activity. We can hear doors slamming, cupboard doors opening, all kinds of noises, and we heard something growl, and, but, it turned out to be a person going, a spirit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's extremely active just before we come. The week before we come is always active, and I let them know that. Now, I think we tire them out while we're there because we're like, I'm sure they're shocked and they're excited and they talk to us, and they talk and they talk and they talk all night, and they're trying to get, into us and trying to hit all of our equipment. And, that takes a lot of work for a spirit to do, to get all that energy and we just wear them out, and people tell us, oh, it was so quiet for a week, 3 weeks, however long it took for the spirit to get more energy from us wearing them out, and it doesn't every
And how do
single
people contact you?
Like I said, they go to our webpage, ctghost.org, and there's a contact page on there, or they can go to our Facebook page, Central Texas Paranormal Society, on Facebook, and they could just message us from there. Do you have them fill out forms, or do they just message you and then you call them back and then you get the information that way, or how do you guys do that? On CT Ghost, it's an email form that they fill out, and then we'll contact them and talk to them. Now, doing this so long that I've done this, I used to have to go to people's houses for like a pre-investigation kind of thing. I'd bring a video camera and set it down, and I'd take a voice recorder and a still camera and walk around the house during the day. Because spirits don't go away just because it's daytime. You just don't hear them because there's more noise, neighbors in your house, your kids, radios and all that. So I used to do that kind of little and interview. But now, I've been doing it so long that I can talk to them and pick out whether or not they're really having something going on or not,
So what do people expect when you come to their house?
Well, like I tell them, we're going to come to the house. We have a plain white trailer that is actually like a little office inside that we have built in there to work out of. So that we bring that in so they know it's just plain. Don't just say nothing on it. And I don't want anybody in the house, not the family, not nobody. You know, you have to have it out. I don't want any children under 18 there, so they need to find a place for them to be that night. Homeowners or renters, yes, they can be with us. You know, sometimes they bring a friend, 1 or 2 friends, which is fine. And then I tell them when we're setting up, there's no problem. It takes us about an hour. We get there about 7:30, so about 8:30, we're going lights out and being quiet. So it takes us about an hour. We set up all of our equipment. Yes, the family can be in the home while we're setting it up. It's fine. We're done. We turn all lights off and we go outside and we let it sit and calm down, And some of the team members will get their personal equipment out at that point, and then we'll start going in. And that's when we decide who's going in first as well. What 2 people, my investigators, do want to go in first, because I do ask them, And so we know who goes first and second by that point. And so after about 30, 45 minutes after being out, then they start hitting the house, and, I let the homeowners watch our security cameras that we have put up in there. And we can hear what the people are saying, because we also have the audio as well, So if you don't feel comfortable with us being in your home because you don't know what's going on, you can watch the cameras and hear it, so you know that everything is safe and they're not stealing anything. Because that, to me, would be one of my big issues, These strange people coming into my home, what are they going to steal anything? So, I understand that.
Another thing that you guys do that I like is that, before you start the investigation, you do a walkthrough of the home and you see if there's any like electrical wiring that are exposed or, anything that can be causing,
yes. Right. They take in the millimeter and the K2s in with them. I have, and they got a notepad. I'll assign 2 people to do that. And they'll go around the house and find out, if they have bleeding electricity coming through the walls or, hey, there was a spot that made my K2 spike and it shouldn't have done it, We didn't get it on the millimeter, but the K2 got it. Or they'll say, hey, we got it on the millimeter, but the K2 didn't get it and it just went away. It was like, bam, and then we'll test that. They'll test it periodically to see in that spot if it comes back or not, And then that'll be a spot we want to watch during the night, just to see. Right. And we'll even go to the floor. We'll go to the ceiling with it, around. We'll walk outside the home, walk around. Scott usually walks around the outside of the home as well, while we're inside. I'll have 1 or 2 people putting up cameras, on tripods and this and that. Another person, Valerie, will walk through and take her still pictures while we're setting up. Maybe somebody might want to video it. Just everybody has a job. And if more still pictures I can get before we set up, the better. Maybe a voice recorder was set down somewhere. We want to put up the ghost meters and the various, dolls and, devices.
Another thing that you guys do that I like also is that, you have people go in pairs. You don't even go to the bathroom by yourself. You go in by pairs.
Exactly, yeah. And they come out after their investigation and someone's like, I got to pee. And I'm like, okay, take a buddy. Because if something happens, I want a second person there to say, yes, it did.
Yeah, it's a safety issue.
Right. What I really, really like about my team is we all believe in God and we all believe in the Bible. So we do pray before and after. We pray for the spirit in the home. We pray for our team. We pray for the people that live there as well, So we'll do that, too. And we always carry a Bible. There's always a Bible in that little traveling office that we have. So if anybody needs to use it, it's there.
Right. And you also pray afterwards, too, right?
Well, yeah, right. That's what I just said. Yeah, before and after.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's another thing that I like about your team. Teresa, did you have some questions you wanted to ask?
Well, Lynn is tied up in the hospital. Someone died. So it's just chaos right now in the emergency room. So unfortunately, I don't think she's going to make it.
Go ahead, Teresa.
I'm still here. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm sitting here. Vicki, of course, whenever people get together, just like us, whenever I met y'all, of course, not only do you investigate together, you become friends and you become your own paranormal family. And I know that, we've had gatherings. Becky's been real good about, hey, let's have a Christmas gathering. I remember that, when we were doing that. It was a lot of fun. I think that's so cool, and I always, and of course I keep in touch with Becky because, not only were we investigators, but we're also really good friends. And so, my question to you, Becky, is out of everything that you've done, because I know many of the experiences because, through the last part, not through the first part with Pop, because I never did get to meet Pop. I kind of came on after Pop. But, we both share that connection with our parents who have passed. And is there anything like outstanding to you? I would like for you to share with everybody out there a memorable experience from your connection with your dad that you can share with us.
Well, there's not just one. That's really hard to do, Teresa. You can't. There's not just one. There's so many. I mean, there's just, after they pass away, it's unreal. It's unbelievable how, one big event, you would be like, you would think that you would remember that more than anything. But what you remember the most is the way he held your hand, the way he looks at you, how he pops you in the back of your head, those kind of things, those little things, those little tiny things, how he would call me and say, we're going to go, get ready. Dad, why? I'm coming to pick you up. Why are you picking me up? What am I doing? We got to reveal. We need to go. You just give me warning. How long until you're going to be there? 15 minutes. I'll be at your front door. Dad, really? You remember those things. You remember the smaller things. You really do.
Yeah, and then what's amazing about yours and kind of what I was getting at was basically a lot of times a lot of people don't realize that when they go, he loved doing this. This was something that he enjoyed. And so even now, at this point in time, he still comes on the investigation.
Yeah. Oh, he goes on every investigation. I've talked to him and I've told him, Dad, this is still your team. I am not the founder of Central Texas Paranormal Society by any means. I am not. My father is, he is the founder, and he is still on the webpage as the founder. And on Facebook, you'll find his picture and not ours because he's our founder, regardless. And I've talked to him and told him, this is your team, Dad. You need to come on it with us. And we have found that he does come on it with us. And his job, I've given him a job, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but he does do it, My father's job during investigation is to show or tell the spirits how to use our equipment. Like she was asking, does people have jobs? Well, my father is a spirit. He's passed over. I know he's with me, and he comes on our investigation. This is his job because it's his team,
And there's been many times we all experience it together because we've been there as a group, and he has been there, and we've gotten validation of that, and that's really cool.
Right. We've gotten his voice on the ghost box as well, remember?
Yes, I do.
You and Ed did that in one house.
Yes, we did.
He came out, and you're like, he said, I think that was Pop. You need to listen to this. And it was, So, yeah. And I wasn't even with you guys. I was kind of jealous because he wasn't talking to me. He was talking to y'all,
Yeah, but he also knew that he's being taped, so you're going to hear it.
Oh yeah. Obviously, yeah, but still, you're just like, I miss him. I wish he'd come to me more often.
Have you noticed that the spirit activity, like with your dad and your loved ones, that it picks up more around the holidays? That you can, I know you always sense them around you, but
no, it doesn't pick up. It just stays the same. I don't think it changes at all, honestly. The only thing, I'll get is if I have a big gathering and people have never been to my house before, they'll walk in and they'll get all the way to the kitchen and they'll be like, oh, it's in my place. Yeah. Sorry, Scott was asking me a question. Adam Bryant is wanting to call in as well, and we're giving the number to him.
Okay.
What was I saying now? Oh, yeah, the people will come in during the holidays, and they'll go, oh, do you know you have a spirit in your house? And I'll have to tell them, well, there's not just one. So, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool when it happens.
Oh yeah, and I have one more question for you, Becky, and that's like give everybody an idea, like a blooper moment. And there's been many, so I'm gonna laugh, but give us. And
hey guys,
I'm gonna do it too.
Hey guys, I don't want to interrupt, but Adam's here. I'm gonna put him on, okay? Adam, you're on with us.
Excellent.
Hey,
hello, everybody. I'm good. I'm driving right now. I'm on 35 and enjoying the cool evening rain.
Wow.
Oh.
One blooper with Adam. Let me tell you the Adam blooper. Adam.
Oh. Oh, my gosh. So many to choose from. Okay.
No. There's one, the biggest one. The biggest. The eyes.
Oh,
the one with the eyes, that's the biggest, funniest one. Adam and Ed were investigating, and they heard a noise. They went to try to debunk it, find out what was going on. And this is actually at Teresa's house that night.
Oh, okay. Oh, my gosh. Oh, okay.
Teresa
it's all coming back.
Those room fresheners that spray on time.
Yes. That was priceless.
Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
Oh, I do remember that quite fondly because of the pain. But we were in there full hunt mode, and we're into it, and it's got a vibe going on, and we're investigating, and we're hearing something, and I realized, oh my gosh, it's the air freshener. It's the automatic air freshener. It's going off every now and then. So, I've got one in my office at work, and took it upon myself. I removed it from the nail on the wall, and there was the button on top, and right at that time, being semi-distracted, from motions and the hunt and everything, it's like, I can turn this off.
He has it faced right at him, and the timer goes off.
In my eyeball.
Oh. So did y'all get that on
camera?
It was on video, sure. Yeah, I was watching it. And I see Adam, and he's just running here and running there, and I was like, oh, no. I do not allow screaming and running and stupid crud in my investigation. So I was like, well, he's not stopping. Oh, no, we're not doing this. So I go inside and I pull Adam out. I was like, nope, sorry, you're done. And I send somebody else in there with Ed.
Yeah.
And then he explains to us what happened, and you should have seen him trying to get bottled water in his eyes.
Oh, my gosh, flushing, yep.
His pain was our, humor.
Yeah, that's a sound audio
sound effect.
That have little sound effects. So they
all right, girl. I got to debunk it. We didn't know what it was.
Exactly.
Not going to ignore it.
I love it.
That's cute.
So, Adam, how did you get started with CTPS?
You know what? I'd investigated independently since I was about 17 and in high school. It was always in me. I hear of a place, friend of a friend, and go check it out myself. I started out, I didn't even take camera. I just went and had my own personal experiences, and then, progressed into the audio recording and cameras and videos. But, after doing that for so long, and then talking it over with my fiancée at the time, I told her, I was like, I really feel like, I should get involved in a group in order to be able to help people experiencing things that, they're not really quite sure of, and it was just a logical step. It's exactly like my bio says. I don't think I've ever worded a bio as perfectly as I did. So that's pretty much, I kind of sought them out myself,
Adam,
set a meeting up, and yep.
Can you explain when you got a hold of Pop? Because at the time he was still living and he was running this whole team.
We emailed, I believe. I took it upon myself to send an email to Pop, and that's how we initially corresponded at first.
Right, and he had talked to you, I guess, corresponded.
He did.
He said, look, I found this guy, because he always, talked to me and Lee Smith, my stepsister, which was a co-founder, about, people that he thinks might be a good investigator or part of our team, to make a great team, well-rounded team, So he talked to us about you, and, so we said, well, go ahead and meet him and see how it goes, because, he really liked what he heard from you. So me and Pop went to where your fiancé was working at that time.
Yes.
And we talked to you, and you really impressed Pop. Remember how impressed he was?
Likewise was my impression, too.
Yeah. So he had you come on the first investigation. Where was that? Do you remember?
I want to say it was on the James Street location. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure right there behind Marstaller Motors in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I still have pictures. I have all of our pictures on my, computer at home, my little brain unit, if you will. But I fondly remember all of this so much. It was,
how exciting was it to investigate the first time with a team?
It's hard to put words to it, and I'm not one that finds it hard to put words to things. Fulfilling, very fulfilling, peaceful family. It's like a congealed oneness, basically. And I know it's a little dramatic to say, but I really mean that.
Yeah, even though Becky puts you on the spot all the time.
I like being put on the spot. I like being challenged. I think it enriches life and experiences.
Mhm.
Well, Regina, do you have any questions for Adam? I know that you had a few questions you wanted to ask.
I wanted to ask a question from the chat room, because I'm running the chat room tonight, and there's a couple of people in there. And I guess each one of y'all could answer this, actually. She wants to know if, this is Mandy, she would like to know, for most people who investigate, is this more of a hobby, or does this become a job, like a job for people, or, how is this, how do you work it into your, everyday life?
Anyone want to take that?
Well, there's several answers, My dad would say we have to do it. It doesn't make a difference. It's not a job. It's something that you have to do, and it has to come first, period. The most important thing on this earth right now is to help people find comfort in their own home. Right?
And I know you guys don't charge for your investigations.
Nope, because he's never, and I asked him about that, Dad, why don't you charge? You do a lot of work. And he's like, nope, that's just not ethical. So we don't charge, and I still don't, because that's how he runs it. Except for, if we go into an investigation that, say, is an hour and a half, 2 hours or more away, and they want us to investigate, well, they need to put us up in rooms and stuff, because I don't want to be driving that at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Dangerous.
On the road.
A lot of this, but not to interject, but not to interject, but I wanted to just add in real quickly that, being out late, you have to have your wits about you. Like right now, I'm driving to play a show with my band, and it's raining and cold, but it's not as late as we get out and investigate sometimes, especially if it's far away or, maybe out in an unincorporated area. Just so many factors involved, but doing this pro bono, it feels right, and
yes.
I just wanted to embellish a little further on the traveling.
I need to keep my team safe if we're traveling, over, a certain distance. I have to keep them safe, because something happened. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. you know.
And that little town, Becky, that we were talking about, it's called Calvert.
Oh, that's what it was. Yep, Calvert. Sorry.
It just came.
Now I had a personal experience in Calvert in the nursing home, the old nursing home. Mm-hmm. One of the other guys that was came in that night. I don't know who he was. He'd never investigated before, and he really wanted to get the idea of what it was like. So he was kind of hanging out with me. I guess I got a shadow or a sidekick for me for the evening, but and it was fine. But we both walked into the kitchen. Now he walked in after me, but he stopped at the doorway, and I walked towards the sink, which is on the other side of the room. I've got all my equipment in my bag, so I haven't stopped yet to put it out into this room. So I'm walking across there, and I got near the sink, and I swear to God, I felt a woman's hand, and I don't know why it was a woman. I just felt that it was a woman. I don't know the history of this nursing home, but I felt that it was a woman. She grabbed my arm so hard that I went down on my knees, literally. Yeah. So that was, and I was like, gosh darn it, of course that would happen, and I didn't get my equipment out. Dang it, So, and I had my video camera in my hand, but my video camera's in my right hand, so when it happened to my left arm, I wasn't thinking turn it. My brain was thinking, ouch. So, yeah, stuff like that happens. And then that's just a personal experience because I cannot prove it. And the other guy, it was dark, midnight, dark, and he was just looking down the hallways with his flashlight. He wasn't looking my way, so it's a personal experience at that point.
Teresa, do you have any questions for Adam?
Yeah, I do. Hey, Adam, how are you?
Hey, how are you? It's good to talk to you.
I know. I'm telling you, I miss you all like crazy. We have so many fun moments. But I do have a question for you, just so everybody listening can hear. Do you have a story, like a story that would be your breakthrough moment that really convinced you of the spirit world,
Sure. I've got let me pick one in particular out. Okay, this one here is actually rather newer. I'm going to say from 2008, 2009. It already been validated. I've seen things and felt things from being a kid. Empathic is the term. I used to run from it when I was younger, and then, like I said earlier, about 17, I started investigating. I felt the need to help, but okay, well, in 2008, I had moved out to the country in a cabin, which I still have. Actually, we had Thanksgiving there yesterday. Beautiful place. The little shack is where I lived at. It was hand-built in the 80s. A very small place. Nature is present, of course. It's beautiful. It's old Native American land. But this one particular evening, it was about 11 at night. And I had gotten a new puppy from my bass player, and I was kind of letting the dog wander around in my cabin just to familiarize itself with surroundings. So I'm walking with it and all that. Her name was Lilu. And we went in, and I have pictures of her too. She was a beautiful soul. But she had made her way into the little bathroom shower area, and she kind of put her head into the shower stall. I only had a stand-up stall, no tub or anything. But she put her head in the stall, kind of looked at it, and I told her, I was like, yeah, that's the shower. And then right then, there's a window directly in front of me outside, but it's frosted, you can't really see out. But if you could see out, all you would see would be 30 acres of land. There's nothing out there. It's all my land. So no one's on the property for quarter mile, half mile, something like that. So about the time Lilu looks up at me, when I say that to her, the dog reacted before I did. We both heard the voice of an older woman in a country twang. I'll never forget it. It was incredibly profound. But she says, audibly, a disembodied voice, oh, what a cute puppy, just like that. And immediately right then, I, goosebumped up hard, felt the presence that we're all familiar with, and was outside with a flashlight looking for someone because I thought I heard it, and it sounded like it came from outside the window, and I was there within 20 seconds. No one there, nothing going on. I came back into the same room, and then it dawned on me. It just, this is the science and thinking. I'm a thinking hunt. When I hunt, I think a lot. But I realized that what I had heard was the reverberation, the echo of her voice from the window, and she, in reality, in her whatever fold of time she was in, was standing directly beside me. And that moment of realization, coming on midnight in the country, 30 acres, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
And you still sleep there comfortably?
I did for a while. I actually developed a really good understanding. There were two of them. It was the two people that had lived in the place. I know their names and everything too. Do what?
They weren't what? I said it's interesting when you can get the history behind that and you can, understand who it is.
Yeah, well, the guy that built it for his dad and his dad built it together. So, and then the gentleman I just mentioned moved away and we bought his house too. So there's actually 3 locations on that one property. But yeah, the history is really cool. He was a vet. Name was Johnny Ray, and his wife's name was Alice. And they were never malevolent. Yeah, they were very country, and non-malevolent. They were very loving spirits. It was a beautiful relationship that I still maintain.
Wow. Well, Teresa, do you have any other questions that you would like to ask CTPS?
No, I'm good. I have a comment, not a question, but just a comment, and that is that like I said, I've said it several times, I miss them. I hope to get to see y'all soon, again, yes. Maybe one day, and hey, more than welcome. Remember, Adam, that open invitation, you and your wife and baby, more than welcome to come up here and visit us from Florida, and same with you, Becky, My door's always open, and I love y'all.
That's beautiful. So we love y'all too, definitely. We love everyone that has any interest in us, that is listening right now. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to us. It really does.
It does. Yep, it does. It really does.
Well, I think Regina has a question for you guys.
Okay, Regina.
I have actually for both of y'all, if you would both answer, maybe Adam first and then Becky. Mm-hmm. Our guest in the chat room was wanting to know if y'all were brought up religiously in a religious home, and if so, believing in the existence of heaven and hell, and if so, how has your experiences, hunting, spirit hunting affected you?
Oh wow! I just hydroplaned for like 20 feet. That was wicked.
Oh,
that was okay. I like that question. I like that got brought up. And personally, myself, I was brought up and raised in the church. My whole family is very spiritual, religious. I'm very spiritual. I'm not per se religious. I do not attend church. But my spirituality is that I do follow Christian beliefs and thought processes, and bringing that into investigations when needed. I'm a very blunt person, very straight up, and I do like that question, like I said. Did that answer all of it? I'm sorry, I'm trying not to hydroplane again. This is kind of freaking me out over here.
Yes.
What about you, Becky?
Well, my parents divorced when I was young still, and I've always gone to church. My grandmother started me off going to church. We lived right next door to her, and church bus would come every Sunday and pick us up right in front of our house.
Oh. Ooh, this is getting bad over here, guys. Yeah, I'm getting hydroplaning. Oh, I'm only going 50.
Only 50? Kind of slow down there.
Yeah.
Like I said, the school bus or the Sunday school bus will pick us up every Sunday with never late. And we would go to church, and my great aunt would go with us on the church bus. And
right, and I know that you integrate the prayer and stuff into your investigation. So I mean, there is a lot of spirituality in your investigation.
Yeah. I was raised Baptist, and my parents divorced when I was young, and when we're at my dad's house, we have to go 100% Baptist, and then when I was at home with my mom, she's a Mormon, so we were doing the Mormon thing,
Yeah.
So it's always been with me. I've always said, hey, blah blah blah. Well, one time when I was young, my Aunt Babe was at our house, and I know I was telling my mom, please let her stay here for tonight, just don't let her go. And my mom was like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, Mom, she's bloody. Her whole face has blood on it. That's what I saw. I didn't see her face. I saw her standing there saying goodbye, and her whole face was covered in blood. Now, they left, and they got in a really bad accident, because it was kind of late that night as well, and they got in a bad accident, and it actually cut my Aunt Babe's forehead from one side to the other open, completely open, and her face was full of blood. So yeah, I've been doing it since I was a kid. I don't look for it. It just kind of shows me, and it's kind of it's not a nice thing when you look around. And my husband's military, so we would be on the base, and I look around and I'm seeing, this guy's walking, but he's dead. He's blue. He's dead. Or another guy that's missing limbs and he's just bleeding out. And you just look around you, and the next thing you know, within a week, 2 weeks, there's a freaking war breaking out. Now, I know that our newscasters don't always tell us every single time there's a war. So, I had no idea that we were going to war either, because they're usually kept secret, even from spouses, So you would find out after the fact, and it's not nice. It's not a pretty sight to see.
That's precognitive visions. That's precog activity for those.
Right.
The terminology is for the proper terminology.
Right.
Well, you guys, I would like to thank you for joining our show tonight. We've really enjoyed having you guys on, and I'm looking forward to doing some hunting with y'all.
Well, y'all stay tuned to our Facebook page, and we'll be taking some videos tomorrow night, and we're hoping Adam shows up, and we're really hoping Rhonda shows up, so we'll have a really good night.
I'm going to try. I'm taking the baby to ride the Christmas train, so, if we get done with that, I definitely want to be there.
Life always has to, your babies take first precedence, period.
Yes, but I love being with you guys. Like I said in the introduction to the show, investigating with you guys is always professional, but it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. And,
stay professional, but we can have fun at the same time is always, what I want.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All righty. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Well, Teresa, does that make you miss them and miss ghost hunting with them?
Of course. But like I had said earlier, me and Becky keep in touch, and I keep in touch with a lot of other of the members there too. So I miss them, miss getting to do that with them. It's like a big family, and when you're in a group like that, it becomes a family. Not only do you do it to get peace for the homeowner or for the business or whoever you're doing the investigation with, it's also a common thing that you have together that brings you close. And I really, really, they're a good team.
Yeah, and Adam he is just, it amazes me. He works a full-time job, and he plays in the band on the weekend, and then he ghost hunts. And one of the locations that I had done, I think it was the first one, Teresa, that I had done without you, and I got paired up with Adam. And Adam, he's more the provoker on the team. Like, he'll call the spirits out. And here I am sitting don't do that, And then, I get to understand, why he was doing it. And, I got a bit more comfortable with it, as the course of the night went on. But, you get all these personalities together, and everybody has a different way they flow. and it just seems to all work together. So, like you were saying earlier, Teresa, that, you've learned a lot from this team, and, I've learned a lot from them too, and both of us wouldn't be where we are today without CTPS. They're just an amazing group, and, the way Pops had started it, and, he got all the seasoned investigators, and like Ed and Val, I got the privilege to listen to Ed speak at the Killeen Public Library around Halloween last year, and, he had a diverse group of people there, including children, and the children were asking so many questions that were, intelligent questions about investigating, and they were really interested in the equipment and the tools, and Ed is he's a speaker. He's definitely a public speaker, and he's interesting, and the evidence that they showed, and of course they showed some blooper pictures, and that's always fun, and it gets their attention. So, just like Regina said, it's always neat to hear other people from different teams talk about their style of investigating and how they do things, and we've all investigated with other teams as well as CTPS, and you pick up a little bit from each team that you investigate with, and you kind of apply it to what you want to do. I've learned a lot from hide and seek. I've investigated with Teresa and her team, and they're just as professional and, caring, and they're there to help people, and people appreciate that. When your house is haunted, or you believe that your house is haunted, to have somebody come in and say, we're not here to make fun of you, we're not here to put you down, we're here to help you. And like Becky was saying, the trailer that they have this huge trailer, but it holds all their equipment in their office, but it's not marked. It doesn't say ghost hunters on the side, so the neighbors don't. You don't want to upset your neighbors, or you don't want people, making fun of you behind your back. If that's what you're thinking, that people are going to say, the woman is crazy. She's saying her house is haunted. When she's not crazy. There are things happening to her, whether or not they can debunk it, or whether or not they say it is haunted. They go in there and they help them, and they give them back the choice. When your house is haunted, you feel like you don't have a choice. It's here. But when somebody comes in and investigates, they're giving you back that choice. So thank everybody for listening in to the show tonight. I hope everybody has a wonderful night, and we will see you guys again here in 2 weeks.